Find a way to look after one another.
Come with me if you want to live.
Not telling the truth, you say that they are full of.
Hollywood's biggest stars often kept their worst issues to themselves. Their untold stories, which include Luke Perry's unexplained death and Michael K. Williams's tragedy, continue to captivate us. These and many other icons reveal the hidden realities behind the spotlight. Discover 20 things we learned about actresses after they died. Saget was the original host of America's Funniest Home Videos.
I have a lot of hair on my chest. It's just clear, you know? I wish I was built like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Do you like him? You like Arnold?
1989 to 1997, and the adored star of Full House, 1987 to 1995, making him one of America's favorite TV dads. In contrast to his clean-cut persona on his sitcom, he was a popular stand-up comedian with a reputation for raunchy humor. He was discovered unconscious in his Orlando, Florida hotel room while performing a stand-up tour. An autopsy report was not made public until a month after his death, which stated that he had died in his sleep from blunt head trauma, caused by a blow to the back of his head, most likely from a fall. He was 65 years old at the time of his death. Saget tested positive for COVID-19, but there were no indications of inflammation, and neither foul play nor drug use were suspected. In order to preserve their privacy, his family filed a lawsuit to stop the release of any more documents. A permanent injunction is now in effect. Williams gained enormous popularity as Omar Little on The Wire, 2002 to 2008.
And I will put a bullet in all y'all behind what happened right now. You heard?
He later received 5 Emmy nominations for different projects, including the HBO series Lovecraft Country in 2021. Williams, 54, was discovered dead in his apartment by his nephew after battling drug addiction for a number of years. 4 men were arrested in connection with his death in February 2022 after he overdosed on a combination of cocaine, heroin, p-fluorofentanyl, and fentanyl. The man who sold him the lethal combination is also charged with manslaughter, and the other 4 men are charged with conspiracy to distribute fentanyl and heroin. With his role as Jackie Robinson in 42, 2013, Boseman gained widespread recognition. He then solidified his legacy as a member of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in Black Panther, 2018, appearing in 2 Avengers films. He was also well known for his charitable endeavors.
Find a way to look after one another as if we were one single.
Particularly with cancer charities and children's organizations. When Boseman received a stage 3 colon cancer diagnosis in 2016, he kept the news to himself and continued undergoing surgeries and chemotherapy. At 43, he passed away from the illness. His final 2 films, Da 5 Bloods and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, were well reviewed by critics and garnered Boseman multiple posthumous nominations and honors. In 2021, he received 4 nominations at the Screen Actors Guild Awards, which was the most for any performer in a single ceremony. As the bad boy Dylan McKay on Beverly Hills 90210.
Well, as always in television, it's hard to be 100% credible because I don't think the viewing public wants to see 100% of the truth.
Perry shot to fame in the 1990s. Starting in 2017, she attracted a new generation of fans as Archie's father, Fred Andrews, on Riverdale. On February 27, 2019, he suffered a massive ischemic stroke at home while starring in that series. Perry passed away at the age of 52 after suffering a second stroke a few days later, at which point his family decided to take him off life support. Shannon Doherty, his love interest from 90210, appeared after his character in Riverdale was killed off. He also appeared in Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which came out after his passing. As a child, Yelchin appeared in films such as Along Came a Spider, 2001, and Terminator Salvation, 2009, and on TV in the series Huff from 2004 to 2006. As an adult, he was a part of the Star Trek franchise, appearing in 3 films as Pavel Chekhov.
Get Megan back, right?
Yes, we are, I promise.
Use this to get me Mr. Sunji.
He had finished Star Trek Beyond and a few independent films shortly before he was killed in a freak accident. Concerned friends found him pinned between his Jeep Grand Cherokee and a brick pillar gate post outside his home. Apparently, he erroneously thought he had put his vehicle in park when he got out to check his mail. Unfortunately, the car rolled down his steep drive and pinned him against the pillar. He died of blunt traumatic asphyxia at the age of 27. Williams is one of the most well-liked comedians of all time, and his improvisational abilities are unparalleled.
Yeah, it's all right. You've never been out of Boston.
Starting with the displaced alien in the television sitcom Mork and Mindy, 1978 to 1982, he developed unique and enduring characters. He excelled in all genres thanks to his quick thinking, energy, and ability to perform a wide range of accents. He was nominated for Best Actor at the Academy Awards for Good Morning Vietnam, 1987, Dead Poets Society, 1989, and The Fisher King, 1991, and he won Supporting Actor for Good Will Hunting, 1998. Of his 6 Golden Globes, one was particularly noteworthy for his vocal performance as the genie in Aladdin, 1992. The world was shocked when Williams was discovered dead at the age of 63, having committed by hanging. According to his autopsy, he had Lewy body dementia, a terrible illness that had been mistakenly identified as Parkinson's disease. In the months before his death, he battled depression, anxiety, insomnia, and paranoia, and he was plagued by delusions and memory loss. Hoffman had one of the most eclectic film and stage careers in the business, appearing in everything from cult favorites like Boogie Nights, 1997, to blockbusters such as Twister, 1996, to serious fare such as Capote, for which he won a Best Actor Oscar.
What's the matter with you? Forget it. I'm really drunk. Really, I am. I'm out of my head.
He also acted in or directed 24 plays, earning 3 Tony nominations for Best Actor. He had developed a substance abuse problem in college, but completed rehab shortly after and stayed sober for 23 years. He relapsed in 2013. Despite additional treatment, Hoffman died at the age of 46 from acute mixed drug intoxication, which was ruled an accident. At the time of his death, he was appearing in the Hunger Games films. He had completed most of his scenes for the final 2 installments, and they were released in 2014 and 2015. Walker began his career as a child actor and worked for years before landing the part that would make him famous. He played Brian O'Connor in the 2001 movie The Fast and the Furious, which started a lucrative movie franchise that is still going strong today.
Is that what you are?
No, man.
Don't come around here again.
Hey man, you know this is bullshit.
Before his tragic death at the age of 40, Walker starred in 5 of those movies. Walker loved cars and had a collection of about 30 vehicles, some of which he shared with Roger Rodas. Rodas was driving a Porsche Carrera GT as the two made their way to an event for one of Walker's charities. The car caught fire after colliding with 2 trees and a concrete lamppost, while Rodas was traveling between 80 and 93 miles per hour in a 45 miles per hour zone. Walker died from a combination of burns and trauma, and Rodas died from multiple traumas. Both bodies were completely burned. The cause of the collision was determined to be speed and tire age, and there was no indication of alcohol or drug use, mechanical failure, dangerous driving conditions, or drag racing. Furious 7, one of his 3 posthumously released films, was finished after his passing with his brothers acting as stand-ins. Monteith was just beginning his career after becoming a TV star as Finn Hudson on Glee. Sadly, off-screen,
Went to his house that night.
He was loaded and famous, okay? You got plenty of tail.
Monteith had struggled with substance abuse since he was 13 years old. He checked himself into a rehab facility on March 31st, 2013, and was discharged a month later. Staff discovered him dead in his Vancouver hotel room on July 13th. He was only 31 years old when he passed away from a deadly mix of alcohol and heroin. His attempts to abstain from drugs are thought to have reduced his tolerance for drug use, which resulted in an unintentional overdose. He was the first of Glee's 3 terrible deaths. In 2018, Mark Salling took his own life at the age of 35, and in 2020, Naya Rivera drowned accidentally. 7 years to the day following Monteith's passing, her body was discovered. As an anti-hero, Gandolfini pioneered television as Tony Soprano, establishing a new standard that numerous series have since adopted.
I didn't just meet you. I've known you my whole fucking life.
For his role as the mob boss on The Sopranos, 1999 to 2007, he was awarded 3 Emmys and a Golden Globe for Best Actor. His son discovered him unconscious in his hotel room while he and his family were in Rome. Shortly after, he passed away at the age of 51 from a heart attack. His 2 posthumous films, Enough Said, 2013, and The Drop, 2014, were well received. Haim rose to prominence as one of the 1980s biggest teen idols as one half of the 2 Corys. He and Corey Feldman became the highest-paid teen stars of their time after appearing in 7 movies, including The Lost Boys, 1987, and License to Drive, 1989. Haim battled alcohol and drug abuse for the majority of his life after being captivated by the darker side of fame at a very young age. Feldman has repeatedly claimed that they were both sexually abused as children, and he spent years in and out of rehab as his career deteriorated and he went bankrupt. Although his official cause of death was pneumonia and diffuse alveolar damage, Haim's death at the age of 38 was initially thought to be an accidental overdose. Even though he died naturally, a prescription drug ring was discovered during the investigation that followed. Several prescription drugs were discovered in his home, and it was discovered that he had received multiple prescriptions.
It's a good movie. It was a good movie. All right, I appreciate it. I would get one taken with you, but...
From 7 different doctors in the month prior to his death. In movies like Dirty Dancing, 1987, and Ghost, 1990, he won over women, and in films like Roadhouse, 1989, he inspired men to aspire to be like him. He became one of the biggest stars of his generation by performing, writing music, dancing, acting, and performing on Broadway. Swayze launched a new business in 2007 by appearing in the television series The Beast. He began experiencing stomach problems shortly after filming the pilot, which ultimately resulted in a stage 4 pancreatic cancer diagnosis. While undergoing chemotherapy and taking an experimental cancer medication, Swayze continued to work on his series and publicly supported other cancer patients. While receiving treatment, Swayze continued to smoke, despite acknowledging that his addiction probably contributed to his illness. With his family by his side, he battled for 20 months before dying at the age of 57. After starting out as a stand-up comedian, Mac quickly found success on television with his The Bernie Mac Show series from 2001 to 2006, and in movies like Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle, and Bad Santa, 2003. In Spike Lee's 2000 stand-up comedy, he is one of the original kings of comedy. He also won over viewers as a member of the cast of Ocean's 11, 2001, and its follow-ups. Mac had to take a break from his TV show in 2004 to recuperate from pneumonia. It was later discovered that he had sarcoidosis, a lung condition. Mac, 50, was admitted to the hospital on August 1, 2008.
Always 3 calls. That last one won't be a holler.
And passed away a week later from pneumonia-related complications. Despite having a sadly small filmography, he had a significant influence on his generation. Audiences and critics adored him in a range of roles, from the romantic lead in 10 Things I Hate About You, 1999, to the socially conscious Brokeback Mountain, 2005, to the manic Joker in The Dark Knight, 2008. He was only 28 years old when he passed away, but he was regarded as one of the best of his contemporaries. He was well known for his vigor and intensity when playing a new role, but he also struggled with insomnia, sometimes getting only 2 hours of sleep each night, which made him turn to self-medication. He was discovered unconscious in his bed by his massage therapist and housekeeper. EMTs were unable to resuscitate him, and he was declared dead at the scene. The cause of his death was identified as an unintentional overdose of several prescription drugs. His portrayal of the Joker earned him an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor.
I know why you choose to have your little group therapy sessions in broad day,
making him the second actor to receive an acting Oscar posthumously. Although many actors have played him, Reeve is the Superman to many people. He starred in the 1978 movie and 3 follow-ups during the following 10 years. Off-screen, he started taking part in equestrian competitions because he loved riding horses. On May 27, 1995, Reeve fell forward and landed head-first after his horse refused to jump. He was paralyzed from the neck down as a result of the spinal injuries that followed. Reeve learned to cope with his paralysis after months of hospitalization and rehabilitation, during which he acknowledged having suicidal thoughts. He wrote books, acted, directed, and produced a number of projects, and fought for the rights of people with disabilities over the course of the following 10 years. Reeve had experienced severe drug reactions after his accident, had asthma and allergies since he was a child, and had recovered from multiple potentially fatal infections. He went into cardiac arrest and coma in October 2004 while on antibiotics for an infection that was causing sepsis. Soon after, at the age of 52, he passed away. No autopsy was performed because his doctor and widow, Dana, thought he was killed by a drug reaction. Dana supported him during his illness and oversaw his foundation after his passing. She tragically passed away on March 6, 2006, at the age of 44, after receiving a lung cancer diagnosis.
Oh, yes, actually, I left my notebook out in the car. Wonder if somebody could go out and...
All 3 of his children currently hold positions on the foundation's board. Being the son of renowned country singer and actor Tex Ritter, Ritter grew up in the industry. He became an icon in his own right after winning an Emmy for his portrayal of Jack Tripper on Three's Company, 1976 to 1984. He earned 140 TV and film credits over the course of his 30-year career, including the voice of everyone's favorite red dog, Clifford, the Reverend in The Waltons, 1972 to 1976, and the eerie robotic Ted in a 1997 episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He was practicing for his sitcom 8 Simple Rules the morning before he passed away, for the second season of Dating My Teenage Daughter, when he fell ill and complained of chest pain. He was taken to the hospital and given treatment for a heart attack, but as his condition deteriorated, it was found that he had an aortic dissection that had gone unnoticed. 6 days before his 55th birthday, he passed away after being admitted for surgery. The Ritter rules were established in 2010 to inform the public about the risk factors for aortic dissections and the identification markers of those at risk for them. His widow, Amy Yazbek,
said, I don't know what happened, so I watched it.
You didn't know the plot? You didn't know how it turned out?
I didn't remember it. I had never seen it.
Has worked to raise awareness of this fatal condition. Farley gained fame as one of the bad boys of Saturday Night Live in the early 1990s, popularizing such characters as motivational speaker Matt Foley and Chicago sports fan Todd O'Connor. Throughout his short career, he also struggled with substance abuse and obesity, but had begun a fruitful big-screen career with roles in box office hits like Tommy Boy, 1995, and Beverly Hills Ninja, 1997. He was in the midst of providing the voice for Shrek.
Actually, Matt, I kind of want to be a writer.
Well, Lottie frickin' da! We got ourselves a writer here!
When he was found dead from an overdose of cocaine and morphine. Besides Shrek, he had several other projects in the works. Like his idol John Belushi, he died much too young at the age of 33. Phoenix was a talented musician and actor who made a lasting impression on the film industry with his iconic roles in Running on Empty, 1988, My Own Private Idaho, 1991, and Stand By Me, 1986. which made him one of the youngest nominees for Best Supporting Actor in Academy history. He was the most attractive young actor in Hollywood at the time of his death.
But it wouldn't have been fun. It would have been scary. We don't want to make it scary. Make it fun.
It was just about a year ago this time. You were up for an Academy Award.
But he had a history of substance and alcohol abuse. When he started feeling ill, he was at the Viper Room nightclub in Hollywood with his sister Rain, brother Joaquin, and girlfriend Samantha Mathis. Outside the club, he passed out and began to convulse. After paramedics and his entourage failed to save him, he passed away at the hospital shortly after, at the age of 23, from acute drug intoxication. Power, who primarily played the heroic male lead in swashbucklers like The Mark of Zorro, 1940, Blood and Sand, 1941, and The Black Swan, 1942, was a major matinee idol in the 1940s and 1950s. Power passed away at the age of 44 after suffering a severe heart attack while filming a dueling scene with his friend and co-star George Sanders for the movie Solomon and Sheba. At the age of 62, Power's father also passed away from a heart attack in the arms of his 17-year-old son in 1931. Power was a seasoned pilot who joined the Marines during World War II and stayed in the reserves until his passing. He was given full military honors at his funeral. With just 3 starring roles, no other actor has had as much of an impact on cinema as James Dean. He is also the only actor to receive 2 posthumous acting nominations for East of Eden, 1955, and Giant, 1956. But it was his portrayal of teenage rebellion in Rebel Without a Cause, wearing a red jacket and blue jeans, that cemented his status as a pop culture icon.
I used to fly around quite a bit, you know. I took a lot of unnecessary chances on the highways. And I started racing, and
The Rebel started racing professionally because he also had a passion for fast cars. While driving his Porsche 550 Spider to an event with his mechanic, Dean struck another car while trying to turn left. Dean was killed when he arrived at the hospital after his tiny car was totaled, and he sustained severe injuries, including a broken neck. Both the driver of the other car and his passenger lived. Dean became a legend, and the car in which he died also became legendary, with rumors of a curse involving the car's remaining parts spreading over time.